Hey everybody, welcome to our week 8 video inspection here of the Package Bee series. So today we're going to go through and we're going to make sure that our work last week, we'll see what that effort did. So if you remember last week, the queen, they got a little bit hesitant to come up into this top box, and then they got overcrowded in the bottom. So the hive decided that they were going to swarm. They were too packed tight. So there was some queen cells, and what we did is we found the queen, so we went ahead, tried to derail them. And you get to do that one time, and if they are still on the, basically if they're still on that mindset where they're gonna swarm, you're not gonna stop them. We get to try once, as long as there was still a queen, and then the second time, we don't wanna mess with it because there's a chance that we're gonna lose the queen and then just be queenless. And so we did that. We kind of checkerboarded frames in the bottom. We swapped empty comb into the middle of the brood nest, and we brought some brood up into the second box to try and force them, draw them up into this second deep box so they go to work. And actually, so we have 4 package bees here, and all of them are moved up into this top deep box except this one. So it just kind of shows you like the preference, whether it's the queen or the hive. Each hive is very different. And so this hive, we've got a little bit of work to do. We're going to check and see how they are doing. If they have queen cells, then we're going to let them be bees, and hopefully we have them derailed and they realize they have extra space and they're going to work. So a little bit of smoke, knock on the front door. Set that there. Outer cover. Okay, so it looks like they are working on the sugar water. And so the bees are up here in this top box. So I'm going to take this off. You can see what we've got. So one jar is 3/4, the other one's empty. So I'm going to move this very carefully without breaking the vacuum seal. All right, now we can do our inspection. And look at that. There are bees galore in the top of this box. So our trick worked. We've convinced them to come upstairs. I guess they thought it was a little scary. I don't know, who knows what's going on, but basically I want to do my inspection. Look for the queen here real quick. And this is just going to be quick today, no special features. We're just checking on the progress of the bees and see what they're up to. And more importantly, looking to make sure they're drawing wax, and they are. So you hopefully you can see that they're got some kind of bulges of wax that is drawn out. And all this down here, they're getting to work up here now. And there's a bunch of bees, young bees. So the brood is hatching. That's opening up some space for the queen to lay in as well. So let's see what we got. Looking for eggs. I don't see any there. There's some capped brood on the outside, and it's really difficult to see. Yep, she is laying eggs up here as well. So that's good, fresh eggs. So she's moved up, and so right here is what I want to look at. They have queen cups, and let's see, tearing the side off of them here. And that is wet. Okay, so we did not derail them, and that's okay. That's bees doing what bees do. Oftentimes the bees know what they need more than we do. So what I'm going to do though, these are fresh, and I really only want to leave a couple of them, because if we leave too many queen cells, they can do a thing called cast swarming, where they throw off multiple swarms, and oftentimes those are virgin queen swarms where they're just they decide like they don't want to fight the queens, the new queens, as they emerge, they, have to have a battle to the death to see who is going to be the true successor. And so sometimes they'll just do a quick swarm, and that's not good for what beekeepers want, because we want these hives to get strong for winter. And if they continue to swarm, some population of the bees are going to continue to go with them. And so sometimes, in really certain circumstances, and I've had a line of bees like this before, where they'll swarm, and then they'll swarm and swarm and swarm and swarm. So when you're catching swarms, just pay attention to that. If you get a whole bunch of swarms from the same hive, those are really not genetics that you want to propagate. The swarm itself is a split of the hive, and that's great. Those bees are going to do lots for drawing wax, and they're going to be very useful. But maybe the queen, you might want to think about replacing that queen, because that swarming behavior is it is hereditary. At least in my experience, it is something that passed down to her daughters, and that is not necessarily a good trait. If you're wanting to make splits and make bees, it works well, but time and a place for that. All right. So that box, we had a couple of queen cells, and I left them. I left 2. And then let's do the inspection down here. Looking for the queen. Don't see her there. And there's a chance that because we tried to derail them last week, they could swarm at any moment. There's not really any timeline. Typically they wait till queen cells are capped and then they take off. And so if you find capped queen cells, pretty much just any moment they could take off. What we saw last week, they were not quite capped queen cells. So we tore them all down. We were taking a little bit of a calculated risk. Boy, this one is a jam-packed pollen frame. That is packed with pollen on both sides, so hopefully you can see all that pollen. The brood is in between the massive amounts of pollen. And here is another queen cell. So they've got one here as well. That one's a little bit further along. I'm going to leave that one. The ones that we found in the top box were brand new, just barely wet in the bottom with royal jelly. That means that the egg is just barely hatched, so they're less than 6 days, 5-6 days old about. And so if we've got more of these extended queen cells, they're going to be further ahead, and we're going to leave those. We're going to get rid of the smaller queen cells because that's just a time thing. They're going to take longer to get to the point where they're reproducing, or where the queen is able to lay eggs again. Man, another frame jam-packed with pollen. I can't see it. Or that one is actually empty. There's a hive beetle. Let's kill that one while we're here. Goodness. Another frame just solid with pollen. Wow. So these guys have gotten into pollen, some really, really nice pollen. Okay, there's a really good, I can see the queen larvae inside of that one. I'm going to leave that one, take out these extra ones that are smaller. Again, they're just going to make more and more queen cells. The bees like to have lots of backup opportunities for making a queen. So if things go properly, when the first queen cell hatches, she'll go, she has a smooth stinger. The queen is the only one that has a smooth stinger, and she'll go around and puncture through the capping of the those queen cells. She'll basically just stab the new queens to death. Okay, so here's the queen. Now, I'm going to do something a little more advanced, and it's because I've got some other hives that I would like to have a new queen. So these queens in these packages are brand new. These are really good queens, and this one just ended up, she got a little bit bound with the extra resources, the pollen and the nectar and everything coming in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kind of, it's not quite a manual swarm, but it's similar. Okay, so this is advanced because you got to be really careful handling queens with your bare hands. And what I've got is a queen cage. She's inside of there, so I close that side. And this is how a lot of the queens come. And so now I'm just going to pick some baby nurse bees here. So this, I said there wasn't going to be any bonus material, but you're seeing what we do as queen breeders. We pick up nurse bees because we want the smallest, youngest bees, because they will feed the queen the best. And I'm just grabbing them on their backs by their wings. And nurse bees are pretty docile, so now I have the queen. I'll come around here. So we've got the queen in this cage, and I put 4 nurse bees in there with her, and this has got a plastic cap on the top so she can't get out, and all the entrances are closed. So this is just like they come in the mail. All right, so I'm going to put her in my pocket because I don't want her queen pheromone in this hive any longer. I want them to understand. Basically, I just created a, not quite an artificial swarm, but a queen removal. And so what they're going to do is they will probably make some additional emergency queen cells. So we're going to come back again next week and make sure we tear down extra emergency cells so that they don't end up with too many of those. Because again, what we want are just a couple of really good queen cells. Just tearing these down, getting rid of the extra wax here on the bottom as well. There is lots and lots of brood here. So what I'm going to do, I actually want to get those pollen frames as well. So what I'm going to do is put some more bees in this top box, just make sure that they understand how much space that they have. The queen is not really the one that is deciding when they swarm. It's more a result of everything else that's going on in the hive. Making sure that wasn't a queen cell. We've got some baby bees that are just emerging right there. Yeah, this is a honey frame, and they're drawing out this back side. So again, I'm going to take brood frame, go up here to the top box, and I'm going to put a plain foundation from the outside. Actually, I don't want to put it next to the plain foundation that I put in last week. I'm going to continue this checkerboard pattern because they're still drawing the wax on that one, and I don't want two frames side by side where they're in different stages of wax production. Especially with plastic foundation, sometimes they'll just continue to overbuild one instead of finishing out the other one. So double check for the excess queen cells. And again, I'm going to checkerboard here, so I'm going to leave one of the frames that they're the next Andron comb that they're working on there. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So this is what's called checkerboarding. You're going every other frame. Actually, I want to take this one from the outside. Okay, let's see. I want to get one of these pollen frames because I want the pollen up here next to the brood nest. Yep, there's brood and tons of pollen. And so I want that, again, up here on the top, towards the outside edge of the brood nest. That way they are filling that like crazy. When the new queen gets established, then there's going to be a ton available. Let's see where this one is. And that one, put in here. That one they've got drawn. So they're starting to overdraw that frame on this outside, so I'm actually going to leave that one towards the wall of the hive so they stop overdrawing it, and then put that other one in between there. Okay, so let's go for a little walk here. Okay, you can see the checkerboard. So we just continued this checkerboarding. So last week we had the two. This week I did the two more on the outside. And then I put them up here in the top. Again, you can kind of see the checkerboarding. These are the two that were there. And then a gap, and then this is the brood one, and I moved this pollen just one more to the outside because I want that on the outside of the brood nest. But basically it's checkerboard that pattern so that they have extra need to draw wax. Extra motivation is what we're trying to give them. All right, get everything set back up here. And then all I'm gonna do is get it put back together now. And, oh, I need the inner cover because we're going to do this feeder on the top yet. So knock the bees down in the box. Make sure that this hole is still taped over. They haven't chewed through it. And feeder, I'm going to put that up here. I'm opening it again like we did before so they can defend that space. And then I've got my sugar water over here. Fill up the jar that they've got empty. And be sure that so I'm going to come over here, flip this upside down, create the suction away from the hive so I don't drip sugar water. Okay, we are set. And put the outer cover back on, button them up, and that's our week 8 inspection. Thank you. Have a blessed day.